Hello folks, the War Within's first content patch is just around the corner, and if you're a lover of open world content or holiday events, then this is going to be right up your street. But if you're a raider or a dungeoneer, then don't worry, there's also something for you. This November marks the 20th anniversary of the launch of World of Warcraft, along with the 30th anniversary of the Warcraft franchise. And as you'd expect, Blizzard are making the annual anniversary holiday a much bigger deal than usual. So much so that the anniversary is taking up almost the entirety of the patch. So let's dive in. The new patch will be releasing on October the 22nd in North America, with the EU and Asian servers getting the patch on the following days as usual. The anniversary event itself is set to run from the launch of the new pack through to January the 6th. This is significantly longer than the usual anniversary events. Anyway, let's go and dive into all the content that's available. To get started, as always, you're going to want to head over to the Caverns of Time. But if you head down into the caverns proper, you're going to find, well, not very much, as the only sign of the event down there is the NPC that allows you to watch old expansion cinematic. Instead, what you want to do is to head out to the caverns entrance, where the Brawn Dragonflight have set up a brand new anniversary area. And it's on a much larger scale than anything we've seen before. So let's get started with a bit of a tour. Right outside the entrance, and you can pick up a balloon. A very special balloon that will take you on a cool little flight over the event area. In the centre of the arena is the main hub for the event. This is where you'll find Historian Lore's daily quest, and where you can also pick up the event's weekly quest. It's also where all the reward vendors hang out, but there'll be a bit more on rewards later. Heading on down to the left, and you find this major stage, where every half hour Lore Walker Cho will recount a major event from Azeroth's past. Simply take a seat and watch the event, and you'll get a bunch of progress towards that weekly quest. You're also able to react to the show, but even if you completely AFK this, you'll still get credit. Head along a little further and we find another stage. This is the venue for Mount Mania. Every hour at 45 minutes past, Abigail, Cyril Daughter, will launch a mount off, where she'll mount up on any possible mount in game, from old unavailable ones right through to the newest War Within mounts. This event is fairly easy to do, as the mount's name is shown above her head. Each mount you can match gets you some progress to the weekly, with a total of 15 mounts to try to match up. A little further on, and Isaac Kadarov can offer you the quest for some of the older anniversary events that are returning. These include the old world bosses, Kazak, Azurugus, and the Dragons of Nightwear, along with the Korak's Revenge Battleground. And finally, on this side, there's a small skating ground, which occasionally gets completely messed up by Magni and Dagran. Heading over to the other side, and we have a pet battle area, and then it's on to a set of portals to some older areas in Azeroth. These portals seem to rotate through the different expansions on a daily basis. Head through a portal and you'll find a chest where you can select a cosmetic buff, like perhaps getting Frostmourne for 5 minutes. Next along in the main area is a cool photo stage. Now this has been persistently bugged in the PTR, but from what I've been able to work out, you can select various scenes, which I assume you can then go in the enter to get a screenshot taken. Unfortunately, every time I've done that in the PTR, the entire stage scene just fades out along with all the NPCs in the area. So I don't really know what's going on there, and hopefully it's something Blizzard will get fixed up before launch. Just opposite the portal area, and you'll find a chance to ring a replica Scarab Gong. And the final event in the area, which is up in this big stage, is Fashion Frenzy. This is basically the same transmog competition as Trial of Style. The NPC sets a theme, and you can then select a transmog and compete against other players, with the audience voting on a winner. The big difference though is that this time the audience is not just limited to participants. People in the general area can also come along and vote. This event happens hourly at 15 minutes past the hour. The new area isn't the only thing that the anniversary event has to offer though. The traditional anniversary world bosses of Kazak, Azurugos, and the rotation of the Dragons of Nightwear are all present and correct, as is the more recently introduced Korak's Revenge Battleground and the Doom Walker Rare, who is now moved to be just outside the main event area. We're also getting another 2 new old rares as well. Further out in Tanaris, you can find the Shat of Anger from Mists of Pandaria and Archivon from Wrath of the Lich King. And yes, both of those can drop their associated mounts. But there's even more. Track down Chromie right next to the Scarab Gong and you can queue for the Codex of Chromie. This is a brand new 20-player scenario that recounts the events of the Vanilla War of Shift and Stands, along with the opening of the gates of An-Karaj. For fans of raiding, the WoW developers have taken the old Blackrock Depths dungeon and transformed it into an 8-boss raid. Unlike the Timewalking raids that only had one difficulty level, this is available in Raid Finder, Normal and Heroic difficulties, and rewards gear equivalent in power to current season gear for the various difficulties, which I suspect is going to give this a much broader appeal than the previous single difficulty Timewalking raids have had. Also new for the event this year is the launch of a brand new set of Timewalking dungeons. And no, it's not the well overdue BFA Timewalking, unfortunately, but instead, as is fitting for a 20th anniversary event, we're getting Vanilla Timewalking. This includes the Dead Mines, Zul'Farrak, both sides of Dire Maul, and both sides of Stratholme. Sadly, only the Dead Mine seems to be in its original vanilla form. The others are all in their Cataclysm revamped forms. Once the anniversary event is over, these dungeons will be joining the regular Timewalking rotation. The final holiday event to cover is a little bit of a mystery. Alex, the volunteer guest relations manager, has a bit of a problem on her hands, and it's going to be our job to help her solve it. This event hasn't been available for testing, but it's been billed by Blizzard as a secret finding event similar to last year's Secrets of Azeroth. This event will run in 2 phases, starting October the 28th and November the 4th. Now, as you would expect, there's plenty of rewards to collect with a brand new event currency, the Bronze Celebration Token, and a bunch of vendors. The star rewards wise are the upgraded versions of the old Tier 2 class sets, which include the iconic Paladin Judgment set, along with new sets for newer classes. While the first one will be quite pricey to buy, once you buy it, you do get a discount in buying the rest of the sets. There's also a bunch of previous anniversary rewards available, such as the old WoD Corehound mount and Little Nefarian. The most exciting reward though is the new mount, the Cold Flame Tempest. This is actually themed in Blizzard's long service staff rewards, and you can also get some transmog pieces and a new toy that are based in these rewards as well. The currency Bronze Celebration tokens doesn't just drop from the anniversary event. It also drops from the weekly events in Khazulgar, which is just as well, as the drop rate of the currency seems, at least on the PTR, to be a bit in the slow side compared to what we have to spend it on. That said, there is an achievement that will increase the drop rate, and Blizzard often do adjust things like this, either just before launch or in the days after, so I'm not personally too worried about the drop rates at the moment, at least. Finally, on the subject of rewards, and the new Timewalking also means some new Timewalking rewards. The Vanilla Timewalking vendor has a brand new mount, the Frey Feather Hippogriff, and there's also a couple of other new Timewalking mounts. The Amani Hunting Bear, which is added to the Burning Crusade Timewalking vendor, and the Enchanted Spellweave Carpet, which will be on the Wrath of the Lich King vendor. As with all Timewalking mounts, these are going to cost 5,000 badges, so I do hope you've been saving up on them. Now, there are also a couple of major changes from the previous anniversary events that I have noticed. Firstly, the traditional intro mail that awards every character in your account with some free Timewalking badges just for logging in has been nowhere to be seen in the PTR. Now, this could just be a PTR thing, but when I think about it, now that we can freely transfer badges from character to character, it may well be that the developers think that this will be too generous and not want us to fill our account with all 65 characters just to pay for 1 or 2 of those new Timewalking mounts. Something that is a little bit more certain is the traditional anniversary buff. For the longest time, this would grant a boost to XP and reputation that matched the anniversary year. For example, for last year's event, we got 19%. This year, unfortunately, it's only 10%, with warbands now granting us up to a 25% XP boost on our alts I can see the logic of this nerf, but the good news is that we can increase the buff to 20% for a limited time. Every week there's going to be a fill the bar quest to do anniversary activities, which will award an additional 10% for 12 hours of played time. Well, that's all there is for the new anniversary content, but is that all there really is in this pack? Well, this is where things start to get a little bit mysterious. The only thing Blizzard have announced is the anniversary stuff, along with a bunch of class and dungeon tuning. Now, there's no doubt that there's plenty in all of this for a minor pack, and I was assuming that this would be all until Portergage, one of Wowhead writers, noticed some very odd goings on in Dornagal. I checked it out myself, and just off the beaten path, there's a very mysterious NPC called Unknown, who has a grey quest symbol. Now, this could just be a bug, but NPCs being called Unknown is often an artifact of the game's encryption system that Blizzard used to hide upcoming quests. And a grey quest symbol usually means a quest that we don't currently meet the requirements for. And this begs a very obvious question. Is there something more to this patch that Blizzard aren't letting on yet? The most obvious answer would be a lead-in quest line for the anniversary event. But why would they want to hide that? And why would that not be bronze dragon themed? This NPC looks, if anything, more blue than bronze. It feels a little bit early for a prologue to the next major pack, but the War Within did have lots of fairly chunky side quest lines in their minor patches. My guess is that we're just going to have to wait for the release day to find out what's actually going on. Anyways, that's the anniversary event patch. I don't know about you, but I'm actually a fan of holiday events. I think they help to add life to the open world, and they do give us a reason to visit older areas, and it's always great to see one getting an update in this scale. But what about you? What are you looking forward to the most? Is it the new raid, more time walking, or just being able to strut your stuff on the fashion stage? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found this update useful or just fun, then let me and the YouTube algorithm know by hitting that like icon. And if you want to support my channel, the best way to do that is to hit the subscribe button. All of your interactions help to make my channel more visible to a wider audience, and that helps it to grow. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.